everyone. Thank you for coming out and being with us on the ring apron with Kia. Sorry, I'm a little hesitant tonight. But anyway, as you can see, I am missing my partner in crime who's coming around now.
Yeah, I'm coming. Hey, how's everyone doing tonight? Kia gets to do the intro.
Yeah, messing it up.
Did you like it? Should she continue to keep doing? Did you like it better?
No,
do it?
No, I'm not doing it.
How about the glasses? You like these?
I can actually see everything right now.
I know, we can see all of you back there, you know? So it's very good that you've joined us this evening. So, as you are aware, this is On the Ring Apron with Steve and Kia, or Kia and Steve, according to who you like better. So we have finally got done with all of the setup for Backlash, the final week of Raw, NXT, Smackdown, playing itself out. Actually, a very good week, in my opinion.
I believe so.
But they went ahead and put on an extremely good SmackDown, which it's rare to see for a go-home show. But they found a way to be able to keep you very entertained with some very good matches and some very good promos, leading into what we hope will be a successful Backlash pay-per-view this upcoming Sunday. For the second week in a row, we're getting to stand, and then it's going to be a few weeks before we get to do it again. So we have to enjoy it while we can.
Well, I think we need to. We better.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump right on into the action here. Let's go ahead and begin with Monday Night Raw. We ended up having, a number of good setups, beginning with, of course, our new women's tag team champions celebrated last week in Bayley and Sasha Banks, showing up on Monday Night Raw to discuss their upcoming match at Backlash, where they will be defending those very tag team titles against both the Iconics and the former champions Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
Of course, my heart is broken because you know how much I love Alexa and Nikki. But one thing I will say, and I think I say it every show, Sasha slayed. Even on Raw, she slayed.
The only part that bothered me, and because of my plate exchange show, is I don't know if anyone else noticed, but they had the Nikki and Alexa plates still on the belts when they came out the first time, but then I guess somebody backstage must have noticed. Or I called them, cough, cough, and, potentially, but they had them switched up to the Sasha Banks and the Hugger Bayley plates. So, unlike the plate exchange we did last week, I've actually got them switched now to the Hugger plates. Because now they're, what are they, camera official now?
Yeah, they are camera official.
So it should work out. But so they ended up, of course, also confronting Asuka and Charlotte Flair. Ends up leading to a lot of tag team action, eventually resulting in Asuka and Charlotte kind of reluctantly teaming together, but then eventually facing each other in a match later that night, champion versus former champion, and Charlotte with a little bit of outside interference from Nia Jax. Charlotte getting the win over Asuka. Asuka somehow Charlotte's got her number.
You could see when they had to team up, they were both hesitant. They did not like it. You could just kind of tell from the way both of them, their body demeanor, their facial expression. But they did it. They worked together. They got it done, and then they end up having to compete against each other later that night.
No, absolutely. And that's not to sit here and say that Asuka didn't deserve to win the match. It was a fantastic match, a good 20 minutes. And Charlotte doing what typically Charlotte does best, and that is put on good matches. A lot of people think that she's, very much overused, very much, potentially overrated due to the last name. But the fact is, despite everything that she's handed, she puts on good matches.
But here's my thing. You can consider her overrated. You consider whatever you want. I think despite her last name, I think she works her butt off. I'm not going to sit here and say I think she works.
She almost cussed.
Yeah, I did. I think she works her butt off. She does what she has to do. It proved because she's got all these title reigns and she's pulled triple duty multiple times. So, despite how you feel about her, she's doing her job.
Well, if you want an opportunity to cuss, we're going to have our moment here in just a second, because another storyline they helped set up for Backlash this weekend was we needed a new #1 contender for the United States Championship. They ended up having a triple threat match between Andrade, Angel Garza, and Kevin Owens, with ultimately Angel and Andrade very clearly not on the same page as to who wanted that title shot. In the result of them arguing, Zelina ends up getting hurt, and she was not happy when she got up.
Would you be happy? Decked out, looking slayed, getting knocked down by the two people you're supposed to be managing. How would you feel? Me? I'd be pissed.
Well, all I know is go back to a Christmas episode they had this past year. Samoa Joe with a line to the authors of Pain, and it fit perfectly for this particular one. When I get up, it's both your asses. So, nope, now we cussed. Should have just let you get away with it earlier.
Probably. Anyway.
Anywho, so the match ends up playing forward, and it actually ends up being Kevin Owens hitting the stunner on Angel Garza, only for Andrade to come in, throw Owens out of the ring, and pinning his own stablemate, I guess, to end up getting the shot at U.S. title and Apollo Crews this weekend at Backlash.
Do you know how hard it was for me to watch that match knowing I love both men the way I do? Don't get me wrong, Kevin Owens is great, but I'm talking about Angel and I'm talking about Andrade. I love both men, but what is going through the mind of Angel Garza knowing that his own teammate did what he did?
Right. Well, I mean, there's a the saying of, it's every man for himself, and on that night it was very clearly every man for himself. So that does lead to a match at Backlash. We will have plenty of it because, of course, with it being a pay-per-view weekend, we will be having Top Rope spoilers tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, live right here. You get our preview, and you also get our official predictions. In the end, we both got 4 correct for In Your House, 4 out of 6.
Yes.
So that means she's still up a point on me at the moment. I haven't been able to catch up in 2 pay-per-views, but Backlash might be the one.
And you're not going to, so no, it's not.
See, I can't talk any trash. So we end up getting those. We've already mentioned, of course, Asuka and Charlotte earlier. Asuka will be defending the Raw Women's Championship against Charlotte. Or, excuse me, not Charlotte, Nia Jax. Charlotte is nowhere to be found, but somehow I think she'll still end up appearing somehow. And then, of course, you can't forget about Raw's primary match, which is Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against the almighty Bobby Lashley. They have been doing a very good job with MVP being a great mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley. He was originally going to have Lashley in the MVP lounge, but ultimately McIntyre decided to invite himself. MVP ends up eating another Claymore. So it seems like he's getting plenty of those as of late. But for the moment, Lashley seems right now to kind of have McIntyre really where he wants him. Let's see if it carries through to Sunday.
I just hope that I hope as much as I love Drew McIntyre, I'd like to see Lashley with a good title reign. But at the same time, I don't think it's time for Drew to end his reign.
Well, you got to figure he's in his his 3rd month or 2nd since WrestleMania because he won in April. So he's just a hair over 2 months. He's in his 3rd. That's kind of the question, and also you figure, you're having to look ahead for what is potentially going to be a setup. You maybe have one more pay-per-view event, whatever they want to put out there, before you would get into the plan for SummerSlam, which is usually in mid to late August. So, if you're going to set up a really big match, either for Drew or for Bobby, you got to kind of start putting that into play now.
But you have all that muscle in one ring between the 2 guys. Who do you pull for? Find out on Top Roller.
Spit it out.
I cannot say it.
We're on the ring apron now. Top Rope spoilers.
I didn't come up with
She doesn't even know the name of our own show.
I really am so tired right now. It's okay. Keep going.
Preach. Okay, it's 10:25. I got to work at 7 a.m. tomorrow, so, we're moving things along. So Raw definitely doing its part to get its matches ready for Backlash. We move to now NXT on Wednesday, and a fantastic NXT coming off of In Your House. A very good promo for Io Shirai winning the Women's Championship. And they had several good matches. Once again, having Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez looking very strong in a victory for their team that week. And also doing a good setup for some type of training school that Timothy Thatcher is going to start teaching. I'm interested to see
what that happens,
where that's going to go. And also, of course, setting up 2 championship matches for next week. You're going to have Imperium defending the NXT Tag Team titles against Breezango, who won a #1 contenders match last week, and also the team that survives the women's tag team title match on this upcoming Sunday will go to NXT on Wednesday and defend the titles against Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox.
So I want to see how that plays out because I think all the women are excellent, more or less. So let's see who wins the titles, and let's see if Sasha and Bayley retain and then go to NXT, and if so, can they retain over Shotzi and Tegan?
Well, all 6 members that are involved in that women's tag team match, all former NXT competitors, so they all know what it's like to be there. Sasha and Bayley right now the only tag champs that have ever gone to NXT, and that was over a year ago. So, it'll be curious to see if this is something that's going to be just kind of a one-off, and also realistically, do we believe Shotzi and Tegan really have a shot at winning the title regardless of who's the champion? But, hey, they've been known to throw surprises in before, and that may be what gets more ratings on NXT, so we'll see. And then two good matches that were set up through NXT. Keith Lee and Candice LeRae continuing their storyline. Johnny and Candice against. See, now I'm tired. Against Keith and Mia. And Johnny winning the match for his team, but kind of at the expense of his wife. She got knocked out. Keith Lee trying to do the right thing, and Johnny takes full advantage of it.
Yeah, of course. That's just the heel role.
Exactly. So, it doesn't look like they're quite done. Finn Balor getting a little taste of revenge, beating Cameron Grimes, which right now to this point is the only person to have handed Finn Balor a loss this calendar year. And then Finn looking right in the camera, about as close as me and you are right now, and telling Keith Lee, that North American title's mine. When you're done playing house, come see me.
That is a bold statement for if I've ever heard one.
Well, I mean, Finn Balor, Keith Lee has, just masterpiece written all over it, because both of them have so much immense talent, and you put the two of them together, there's the possibilities in a match like that are endless. And also, the opportunity to potentially take the title and put it on a Finn Balor without necessarily having to move him to the NXT Championship or to one of the other titles. It gives you an opportunity to be able to put a mid-level title and possibly raise it even higher because of the status that Finn comes with. No disrespect to Keith Lee, but Finn's kind of at another echelon.
The possibilities are limitless.
Ooh, very nicely done. I'm pretty sure she's had that one in the cannon for about a minute or two, though.
No, I really didn't.
And then the finale being after an entire show full of mind games by Dexter Lumis, basically scaring Roderick Strong out of his mind, because every time the other UE members would turn around, he'd be gone. Lumis finally going one-on-one with Adam Cole. A fantastic match. Velveteen Dream getting involved. Of course, UE getting themselves mixed in it with as well. But ultimately, Cole getting the win over Dexter Lumis. So that's now 2 losses by Lumis to UE members. But that wasn't what this one was all about. It was definitely what happened after the match that caught all the news.
Shall I say it? She came out, and Scarlett Bordeaux, she slayed. Not only did she slay, all she did, she walked down the ring, put in a time clock, hourglass, spent it over, and said Tick-Tock, and then just walked away.
Didn't need to say anything
else. But did you see Adam Cole's face? It's like, oh, is he going to be the one to take my title? How am I going to play this? What am I going to do?
Well, you have to think from Cole's perspective. He just survived another great challenge, and really has felt that he's taken on any and all comers and has found a way to beat them all. But also, he knows the war it took to take out Tommaso Ciampa before, and Karrian took out Ciampa in minutes. So,
but like Adam Cole has said, he has run roughshod over the whole division of NXT. Is it possible that someone has his number that he has not faced yet?
Well, Karrian seems like he's, going to run, and he might be the one running roughshod here pretty soon. And as it finally, Cole's, as it would clearly be stated, is his time up. So we'll find out here as that continues on. Will that match be on NXT? Are they going to save that for the next takeover? Curious to see where that's going to go. But then we move to tonight's SmackDown, starting off with more back and forth between Sheamus and Jeff Hardy as they prepare for their grudge match this upcoming Sunday at Backlash. Talking about sobriety tests and talking about his battle with alcoholism. I'm actually very kind of disappointed in the writers, because I really am not thrilled with the fact that they're letting Jeff Hardy's previous addictions and troubles be used as a storyline. I understand Jeff's got to approve it in some way, but still, it hurts to watch, in my opinion.
But my thing with that is, you have this person in Jeff who's overcome everything and has come back and has been just bam, bam, bam. But the fact that you're using his past against him to sit here and make him look like he is the bad person, the weaker person, and you have Jeff sitting here saying, I would hate for my daughters to have to see this, or I'd have to hate to tell them what's happening. I think, again, like you said, it's lazy writing on the part of the writers, and I honestly believe they could have done a lot better.
Right. I'm not going to necessarily say lazy, but I am going to say that I feel like this is a kind of a storyline they really didn't need to go with. It was possible to be able to have a storyline be just on how many more chances you need, but now at this point you're actively bringing him into drunk driving, you're actively bringing trouble with drugs into it, for what is not even probably your top 2 or 3 storylines on SmackDown right now.
I mean,
so I'm kind of hoping that Jeff and Sheamus bring this to an end at Backlash, and then let them head their own directions, and let's get this story done. And then of course we get to about the halfway point of SmackDown tonight, and we have what right now is probably my front runner for match of the year.
Oh,
I'm going to say it, and I cannot believe they wasted this match on a SmackDown. And I say wasted very loosely because it was an absolute clinic by two of the best. The Intercontinental Tournament Finals lived up to every bit of the hype. If you haven't watched the match, you got about 5 seconds to step out before I'm going to announce who won. But, you know, I mean, an absolute clinic put on by both Styles and by Daniel Bryan for nearly 40 minutes, 5 commercial breaks during SmackDown. But ultimately, it is the phenomenal AJ Styles going over Daniel Bryan. Both guys, I mean, clearly gave everything they had. They both look spent. They look exhausted.
Tired.
You know, the crowd, you know, granted, yes, they're NXT people, but they gave a standing O to both sides.
What kind of broke my heart a little bit is Daniel Bryan hanging his head in shame. There is no need, my friend, to hang your head. You are one of the best, and you put on a massacre clinic with AJ coming back. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that you hung your head in shame, what's there to be ashamed of?
There was nothing. I mean, Daniel Bryan sat here and, you know, felt like, you know, his game has strictly improved since he started working with Drew Gulak. And you could see it. I mean, submission after submission after submission. I mean, an absolute clinic. If you want to be a submission wrestler, just put that match on repeat and you will see exactly what it brings to the table. But you've got, I mean, this is what happens when you give two of the best in the business, not just in WWE, but in the world. You put two of the best, you give them 2 weeks to figure this out. You can put together a clinical masterpiece like this, and that is exactly what we got. The only thing I hate, if there is a single thing to hate, is the fact that it was used in the middle of a SmackDown instead of being used as potentially a main event of a pay-per-view.
Here's my thing. You want the greatest match as up to date right now? It's not. I don't know if it'll be the Randy Orton or Edge. You should have put this in the place of that. And
what a nice setup, though, because they're talking about Edge and Randy Orton being the greatest match ever. Well, we might have very well just seen it tonight. So if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor. Go back and watch it. And I'm not talking watch the highlights. Go back to SmackDown. Watch it from start to finish. I promise you, you will be seeing your match of the year. Or it's definitely the front runner at the moment. So, of course, we have a new Intercontinental Champion. That means Plate Exchange coming up right behind this, so be looking out on Instagram, on YouTube, because that Plate Exchange is going to be coming right on as we get the new phenomenal AJ Styles plates on our Intercontinental Championship. Only the second different set of plates we've ever put on that one, too. They, of course, have Sasha and Bayley come out and do their thing. Sasha, once again, slaying as always. That woman, I swear, that girl could wear a trash bag and could make it look good.
I mean, nobody can pull off all the way. It's very few people. And she did it with, like, sequins and heels. I mean, who does that, Steve?
You said Sasha and pull off. I mean, come on.
Anyway, who does that? And then you have Bayley, don't get me wrong, just, like, popping and whacking all the balloons. And here's Sasha just slowly walking down, you know, strutting her stuff, you know.
So, of course, this whole setup, of course, leads to Nikki and Alexa coming out, giving their thoughts on this weekend, and then the Iconics also with a video package where they told them, hey, don't turn your back on Nikki and Alexa, and they did, and ended up leading to a brawl between them all. So, you know, a very good setup, a very quiet one, very simple, but at the same time also having that spark of a very loud, boisterous Bayley along with Sasha, you know, still running her mouth, but also clearly, you know, just kind of stepping back, biding her time, letting Bayley kind of, you know, paint herself into the corner she wants to be in. We'll see where that heads.
But I did find it disrespectful. I even told you at the time I found it disrespectful for what Alexa did by putting on the boss knucks and portraying herself as Sasha. No, baby, you're not Sasha.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out who the boss is on Sunday. But, of course, if you want to find out who we pick, you're going to have to see us on Sunday for Top Rope spoilers. And then SmackDown ending tonight. With a 6-person tag, you had Mr. Money in the Bank Otis and Tucker, who is now making his return after a few weeks being injured.
Welcome back.
Absolutely. Teaming with the Universal Champion Braun Strowman, taking on Miz, Morrison, hey,
ho ho.
There you go, and Dolph Ziggler. And they had a little segment there in the middle where King Corbin decided he was going to go to the back and going to, you know, mac on Mandy a little bit, which led to Otis going to the back to have to go deal with him eventually.
He did it low-key asking about his crown, but we all kind of saw where that was going.
Yeah, it's clear you're sitting here thinking about a man that's, you know, royal, a man that's
powerful.
And considering, you know, Mandy's history, you know, because she does play a very good heel role You know, it does leave the fan a little bit worried that, you know, it might put an idea in her head or whatnot. But it seems like she's very thrilled to be with Tucker. Ultimately, not with Tucker, with Otis. You know, and then of course, you know, at the end, the team of Otis and Tucker and Braun end up working well together. Otis getting the win after the Caterpillar, and they end up, you know, having the little tease where everybody's there, and while Otis is holding up his Money in the Bank, he kind of side-eyes Braun just a little bit, just, you know, a little reminder that, hey, I still see you and I still know what's about to happen. Again, this is no spoiler to anything we're going to see on Sunday, but I got a weird feeling I think we need to tune in.
But do not overlook Otis at all. I'm just saying.
I don't think anyone is. I just think that, you know, he's waiting for the moment, but when is that moment, you know? And that's the joy of the Money in the Bank briefcase, because you truly don't know when it's going to be, and that's exactly why it makes it intriguing, especially when you have this upcoming weekend. You know, of course, Braun defending the Universal title in a 2-on-1 handicap match against both Miz and Morrison, you know, which opens the door for... you know, 2-on-1 attacks on the champion, so even if Braun somehow does get out of it with the title, he's got to beat 2 men in one night in order to do it, and if Miz and Morrison do pull it off, Otis only has to beat one of them in order to win the Universal title if he chooses to cash in.
But it's nice to see that they're still alive in, what is it, Kayla?
Oh, Kayla,
I'm surprised she didn't, you know, kill him.
You got slimed. It was an early birthday gift.
Oh, please.
But, and like I said, you know, the AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan match alone was enough to make it a fantastic SmackDown. It's an A+ level match. Again, if you didn't see it tonight, go watch it. It is worth every one of those 40 minutes that you're going to spend watching it. And this is one of those where, I mean, you hated to see someone lose, but once you got to about that 25-minute mark, you're just like, I don't care. Do not have this in by interference.
Exactly.
Do not have this in by double count out.
Disqualification.
You know, give me a clean winner. I really don't even care who at that point. Because hey, on record, she put me on the spot. I did pick Styles last week during one of my plate exchanges to win that match. But, you know, I was sitting there at about the 25-minute mark just like, I really don't care who wins. This has been a masterpiece.
It really has been.
You know, AEW, hey, ball's in your court now, I guess. But, you know, of course, that, you know, is a very nice lead into what we've got coming up this weekend. So for those of you who did join us tonight, we know it's late on a Friday. As I said, hey, I got to work tomorrow. We got, and for those of you who don't know, I umpire on weekends. So baseball starting to slowly work its way back in. So I got to go put on my umpiring gear and got to go to work. But we, you know, of course, we're still going to have our normal shows. Questions with the Queen, a Backlash edition. Going to be put on the IGTV this weekend. That'll still be at 2 o'clock, so we'll have that heading in your direction. Also available on YouTube immediately after. I did mention earlier a plate exchange where we will get the new Intercontinental Champion, AJ Styles, get his plate on our belts, so be on the lookout. That's actually coming right behind this, so that will be available on our site here in a little bit. And then, of course, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, live, so you guys can come in, talk, comment, everything else. We will review and make our official predictions for Backlash this Sunday.
Yeah, we will. We want to also hear what you think and how you feel, and we want some of your explanations on the pay-per-view coming up this Sunday, Backlash.
Well, you know, and you always think of Backlash as being a pay-per-view that it's like, it's kind of just fit in there. We need something to fill the gap, but, you know, honestly, there's some real good storylines that are coming into this. Maybe not the greatest that we've ever seen, but I've definitely seen worse.
Yeah, I have too.
So we'll see how it all turns out. A number of good women's matches, of 2 world title matches, and then, of course, the greatest wrestling match ever. So we'll see if it lives up to the hype. But anyway, that's on the ring apron for tonight. We appreciate everyone who came out and joined us. Again, be watching our channel for a plate exchange coming up right behind this. Questions with the Queen tomorrow at 2. Top Rope Spoilers at 7. So you get a little bit of everything this weekend, of course, leading up to Backlash this Sunday. So I'm Steve.
And I'm Kia.
And you guys have a great rest of your evening. Kia, take us home.
Love you guys. Bye.